Everybody, BobbyFi here. I thought Sheets would be here, but we'll see. I wanted to talk about the NBA. Oh, it looks like Sheets is popping in. There he is.
What's going on?
Sheets, what do you think? Go talk about MLB, then go to NBA.
Yeah, you know what I want to talk about?
What's that?
I want to talk about Tommy Malone.
And stacking against him?
No, and playing him at 4K.
Yeah, that's fine.
I mean, I want to get your opinion. I just see a 4K guy at home against Colorado. I mean, I want to talk about it. I mean, what?
Yeah, I mean, he's not good. I don't think he's stretched out. I don't think there's any real upside.
Okay.
But you don't necessarily. I mean, the thing is, it's just that somebody's going to probably get there on this slate. But I'm having a hard time trying to figure out who. So if you're just playing the numbers game, like he's going to be the best point per dollar, I would rather play Woodford than him at 5K because I think Woodford at least has a leash.
Okay.
I think I would probably rather play Gomber than him, but I wouldn't mind the idea of throwing him into a lineup.
Okay.
What are we getting from that? Probably not as much as you'd hope for, you know?
Okay.
But it's gonna and my personal take, he ends up really popular.
That's what I was going to ask. I mean, I don't know what's.
I think he's going to end up being fair, like popular-ish, you know, in the nature of this slate. It's, and I see Rhodey writing it in our Discord that he's popping. He's not popping. He's projected to score 10 fantasy points. This is not popping. Okay, no. I'll tell you what. Not one pitcher today is actually popping. None of them are good. Not one seems to make, like, if you saw these projections and you assume they were accurate, you wouldn't pay for any of them, which means maybe you would play Malone. But nobody looks good. So you have to find the other ones. I'm seeing this ridiculous amount of, like, I don't know whether it's going to happen, but a lot of people are talking about Baltimore as being like the best stack. A lot of people I've heard today. I think Clevenger is an awesome tournament play. I'm going to still on that one. But it's hard to look at these pitchers and say, okay, well, we need to spend up for Senga, or, I mean, he's got the upside with the matchup. Has Morton. I actually think Morton might be my favorite of those guys. It's really, really like what you know, is it worth paying 5K more for like 5 extra fantasy points, you know? So that's where the Malone, Woodford, and all those other guys come in. It's just, can the 12 to 14 be good enough? And I think it can be. If you want to stack up the expensive teams like the Angels or the Dodgers, or the Braves or the Cardinals, those are guys who I guess should be in your mix. Tell you what else I think is interesting. I think that the projected run total is. I'm sort of surprised no one's on this more. Like, why aren't the Yankees projected to score more here? It seems like if you looked at just the matchup and them playing at home in 80-degree weather with a little wind blowing out, it seems like they would be like the chalk. They would make sense as the chalk team. And there really isn't a chalk team. I think Cleveland's the most probably, but even them, Goldie's ownership, you know, aggregate ownership throughout the industry, 2 players above 10% owned. It's just there's nobody who looks all that great. They are opening the roof in Toronto, I wanted to point out. That should help the ball carry more. And I think Toronto's a really interesting as a get weird stack. But they're all like get weird stacks today. You know, I mean, you don't really necessarily need to get weird, but I'll play, you know, one of the best 3 offenses in baseball, and certainly the best offense for DFS purposes because they'll run and they'll hit home runs. I'll take a shot. You know, as much as I think Rasmussen is actually decent, like I don't like this spot for him. So I'm going to take that what's it called? And I did make a parlay bet on Toronto to win, Toronto to score more than 6 runs. I'm trying to look at it because I had my friend do it for me. And Toronto, Toronto minus 1.5, even though they're plus 1.5 for the game. So I parlayed all 3 of those things, and we'll see how it goes. Yeah, I don't know what that means. Oh, nobody. Yeah, there's nobody popping. That's what. Yeah, it's the same page, Brody. It's just these aren't like plays, you know what I mean? They're just like the guys you can just go down and spend on any of them. And I agree with you. I think that Woodford and Gomber are certainly viable, but what you do get with all these guys is these high risk guys. I'm sorry, these cheap guys is they're all like high. Like we can't really complain if Gomber has like 1 fantasy point. You know what I mean? We can't really complain if Woodford does too. Eric, why do you need to get away from Cleveland stacks? If you like them, play them. That's it. If you want to stack Tampa, go ahead. Yeah, I don't think anybody's arguing with you here. But what are you doing, Sheets? What stacks are you high on? What pitchers are you high on?
The Cubs, the Dodgers, Cleveland, and Baltimore. Those are my top 4. And then Atlanta and the Mets. Those are
nice and tidy. You had it all ready for me. I'm still trying to decide on mine.
That's where I am right now. I mean, I wanted to ask you about Malone and like other stuff, and then I'm gonna rebuild probably. Not that I'm gonna, you know what I mean? Like, I just want to just get your opinion on these guys.
Yeah, and I think look, Malone is all of these guys are similar, these cheapos, and I just don't see any of them being all that different. I think Malone is actually going to be owned because he'll be the best point per dollar play on the slate for the pitchers, and none of the pitchers look all that great. So I'm totally cool with the idea of, so aggregated in from all the sites and your projections as well. Not one pitcher projected to score 20 fantasy points. Now we know there's going to be some guys who score 20 fantasy points. Don't get me wrong, but if there's nobody projected to score 20. And it means it's fairly likely that nobody gets to 30. Maybe it is the right thing to do to play these cheap guys. I especially like the Woodford thing just because of the number of pitches they've let him throw so far. But yeah, is it high risk? Sure, I guess. Eric, I have no idea. We just went through the ownerships. You do this every day. To say they're uber chalk is like egregious. I don't know what projections you're looking at. I'll tell you what the industry says about Cleveland overall. The industry has Cleveland with 2 players above 10% owned. So, like, uber chalk is certainly not something I would think of to call them. Like, I mean, even if they end up with 3 guys, I think in the higher buy-ins it will be a little bit more. But yeah, play somebody else if you want to. And there's a million ways to go on there. Yeah, I mean, and the Woodford thing is a gamble, but like Woodford and Gomber are 5K and 5,800, and both of them have the ability to put up 15 to 20, which may be right in line with the top guys tonight.
I think, by the way, that there are guys that could put up a score today. I don't know exactly who it's going to be, but like I think that the Mets guy could put up a score. I think that Morton could put up a score. I think Garcia could put up a score. So it's not it's not like the pitching's just awful. I mean, I think between especially those 2 that I mentioned. I mean, I think the Mets guy in Oakland he could smash. You know what I mean? He doesn't have to smash, but he could. And Morton, I mean, he's with a 100-pitch leash against Kansas City, and who's to say he can't? He's got some. He still has some pop in his arm.
Yeah, I hear you. Those are the guys I would pick as the most likely to, actually.
And Cortez.
Yeah,
Cortez facing Minnesota off the 11-run game. I mean,
But like, when does Cortez really put up numbers? Like, Cortez has less of a leash than the guys who are 5K.
All right, maybe
he just doesn't ever throw 100 pitches. Yeah. Like, I don't know how much I think Cortez is like going to break the slate or anything.
No, not all the time. But I'm just saying that I do think that somebody gets 30 today.
Yeah, you know what, and it's possibly true. But rather than trying to guess who, isn't it? I mean, by the way, even if a guy gets 30, you're still fine with 15 from your little cheap guys if you get the other spend-ups right, you know. So yeah, that's fair. That's fair, Sheets. Like, somebody gets 30 tonight, probably. Like, but
oh my God, dude! You know, you could add to the Cubs list is the Swanson will be back in the lineup tonight.
Yeah, I understand the argument for the Cubs. I'm not doing it. biggest stadium downgrade of any team other than Colorado today. It's 57 degrees versus the 75 degrees and 20-mile-an-hour winds blowing out there, which is like 50-mile-an-hour winds in most places. I do like the idea of taking some shots at Syndergaard because I don't think he's quite the same. But the Dodgers they just have good pitching everywhere. And I like the mini stack. I do have the mini stack of the Cubs, so I can't talk against it, but I don't have any more than 3 in any lineup. I think I have 2 in a decent. I like the Mancini, Bellinger are the 2 that I've got the most of.
Yep.
And then Wisdom I've got a little bit too. Just because you reminded me earlier of too many narratives that you put in my head, man.
Yeah.
By the way, can I just say F you to Minwoo Lee? Like, very, very frustrating. The guy bounces back after being 2 over. He's 3 under on the 17th hole, and he ends up 5 putting. I think he 5 putted for a double bogey that took him out of the cut. And otherwise, that's going to cost about basically like all of my lineups with him. He was the last guy who needed to make the cut, including my 555. So that was very, very, very tilting when he looked pretty safely in. In fact, he was at 90, I think it was 98 point something percent to make it at one point, and with 2 holes to go, and then he does that. Michael Wacha has been good, and he's like a middling play people do. I don't agree about Noah Syndergaard's price looking too low. I think you could play him, but I don't think I just am saying in like real life, like this guy struck out 2 batters in his last outing. I know he had a decent first outing against Arizona. What has Syndergaard thrown pitch wise? Has he thrown more than 80 yet? Yeah, I just, if I'm going to play guys like that, I'll play the other guy, the cheaper guys. Sure, you like the matchup with the Cubs in general, but this is not the same Noah Syndergaard. Yeah. All right. Yeah, the Siwoo was a brutal for you, but BBF. Yeah, I fortunately didn't have much of him, but no Will Smith in the Dodger lineup. That's going to make me think about some things. Okay. Well,
That's you.
Pretty easy. That just means you play Freeman. And yeah, yikes. God, these cheap catchers today, I just can't find any to feel okay about. I guess Camposano from San Diego, but not a lot of good cheap catchers today.
What about yeah, I agree.
Maybe against Cortez. That's not bad. But
is Hayagosha, is he in?
Higashioka? No, it's Trevino tonight.
Okay.
Otherwise, that he would have been my guy. I was trying to figure out. I just didn't want to play Trevino in my Yankee stacks. So, I mean, I'm going to probably end up with a little bit of them, but I didn't want to play my big buy-in ones. I think the Yankees end up more popular than people think, by the way, especially with Volpe leading off at 3K at shortstop. It's just I picture that play being very popular. No Mancini tonight, it looks like, so we're gonna have to redo that.
Oh, that sucks.
They boy, that's not a very pretty lineup that they're putting out there. This isn't that bad. It's actually not that bad. Damn, that's too bad. So instead of Mancini, you don't even have like a direct thing in there. Okay, I'm going to figure out how to rebuild those lineups. But we can talk a little bit of hoops. I built my big buy-in lineup for the hoops tonight. There's a few takes that I have that first of all, if you want to try and get it off the board, gamble. And as usual at this time with these playoff guys, like if you want to gamble, the lowest owned guy, like one of them that's actually going to play is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, but it's really hard to fit him in. And for me, my personal favorite of the spending up-ish is because he's a little bit cheaper is Jimmy Butler. I think he'll have a big game whether they win or lose tonight. I have money on Chicago, which I never thought I'd have against Miami, but this is not the same Miami team. And I think that you get into the which guys do we want to gamble at cheap prices can get there. Isaiah Joe will be fairly owned as one of those guys. Dario Saric potentially could be a guy who you could use. Victor Oladipo, if you want to just hope that the Miami says, you know what, we played like crap. This is ridiculous. Let's get Oladipo some more minutes and stop playing so much Kyle Lowry and Gabe Vincent. That's possible. Kevin Love, who they didn't play, is possible. The guy I'm siding with is Jalen Noel. One, we don't know if he's going to play or not, but he's probably going to play. He's a guy who, like, in 11 minutes can put up like 18 fantasy points. And if he puts up just 10 fantasy points at 3,500, it allows me to do what else I want to do. You can make the same argument for McLaughlin, but I kind of like the idea of taking some shots with Noel because Minnesota will let him go at times. It's a little different with Conley there. We haven't seen them up together as much, but I think that's the guy who I feel the best at getting off the board with my spend down. And he, like, legitimately, all these guys are DNP CD possibilities. Saric, him, they all could easily miss out on this game. And the other one is Nickeil Alexander-Walker, if you're not going to play. But I think Nickeil Alexander-Walker will be popular, whereas Jalen Noel won't. And
some sound effects going on over there.
yeah, I had a serious thing I had to deal with the family. I had an older member of my family fall down and hit their head.
Oh, good grief.
So, no, I don't like any of these guys. I just am saying the ones I'm siding with. So I don't like Alexander. I don't like them. I'm just going to play them because I need the value somewhere. I like the idea of trying to middle out the build, but it's even if you try to middle it out, you're going to have to play somebody somewhere along the way. I'll tell you who I'm not fading in any of my lineups, and that's both Jalen Williams for me tonight, with the possible exception of maybe playing Saric over Williams in one lineup. They played Saric in 10 minutes in the last game. He played somewhat effectively. Minnesota plays two bigs. There's an outside chance that they could use him if someone gets in foul trouble. So I kind of can buy into the Saric argument. But the other plays, I mean, it's sort of everybody's the same. Everybody's going to be really popular. So it's just deciding. I mean, I like Butler. I like Levine the best of the Bulls, but I don't mind if you want to go DeRozan. I'm not playing Vooch. I like Bam and Butler a lot with Levine run back. I actually don't mind Caruso even at 5K. It's pretty clear they want him on the court a lot. And I don't mind if you don't want to play him, I would play one of he or Beverly. And then Noel, I would play one of he or Nickeil Alexander-Walker. And then I'll play both Jalen Williams and Lou Dort in most of my lineups. That's my sort of quick rundown. I said both Jalen Williams. I can't say any. Nick, are you messing with me? I can't tell what's happening. I said both Jalen Williams 100 times, and he keeps saying which Jalen Williams. It's got to be a joke, I think. Yeah, I do. I like the Jays better than I like the Rays, and I like Barrios against the Rays.
Hold on a second. I posted the same package twice. Hold on a second.
I'm looking through my lineups in baseball. Well, I'll jump back to that question, that thing that Eric made me think of it. I don't have all of my highest owned pitchers. None of them are projected to be 10% owned. So even if I wanted to play,
I'm like so spread out with my pitchers right now. And I'm like so far behind you right now. Like you already got through talking about the NBA. I just finished like updating like baseball and I'm just doing State Kings because I forgot to do that. I'm only playing MME tonight in NBA. And the one thing I did hear out of the corner of my ear, which I'm with you on the same, is that I have almost every lineup with both Jay Williams.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good that I heard that.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm a little bit annoyed about was that when you said that if you want the low-owned guy, play Shea, because I was going to brag that I had zero.
I didn't say to play him. I said that
I was going to brag that I had zero of him, and I guess that's just not exactly such a brag because it's impossible to play him.
He's the only rotational for sure guy that's going to be like sub to 10% owned.
Yeah, I know.
He's actually going to play, but you just can't get to him really. So I'll dive into Robinson Earl real quick because that's a real question. I don't think he plays a single minute tonight.
Well, that's not good.
Well, I mean, you got to take what you can get. You know what I mean? It's just really hard with the prices. I think, why would they change what they did in the last game and play Robinson Earl? Why would they play him tonight and they didn't play him the other night when they needed him? So why would it be Robinson Earl over Saric, I guess is my question. It just doesn't quite make sense to me. But I like the idea of it, because you are playing a team with double bigs, possibly. By the way, there's still a chance that Gobert doesn't play this game. Yeah, so I don't know what to say there, actually, to be honest with you, because I think that taking that chance is totally fine. It's just I would expect more times than not him not to play any minutes here. But so I just think Saric is a much better play, but the problem is Saric will actually have ownership. So maybe taking an angle like, I don't know. I'm more interested in speculating on the Miami that they can change things up a little bit. I'd rather do that, I think. It's ugly though, that's for sure. And I mentioned the Noel play as a long shot play. The other one I was considering earlier is I mentioned Oladipo, but Aaron Wiggins played 14 minutes the other night. Excuse me. You could play Aaron Wiggins instead of the other guys, instead of those guys, and I think that's actually reasonable. Let me just see what his ownership's going to be. Non-existent. Like, I think that's, he's actually like a rotational player for them, at least to where he played, in the last must-win game. I think that I would rather do that. But I also kind of am intrigued by the speculation on Oladipo.
I'll tell you what I would like to do in I'm gonna do that in a second, but first I want to post just so. How do you handle this? So I double posted a package.
Double posted a package.
Yes.
If nothing's been bought, you got to delete right away.
How do you delete it?
Just set it to a later date. Set it to a date before this time.
Oh, okay. Let's do that. The doctor. Oh, I can't. It won't let me.
It should let you. I've done it a bunch of times.
Let's see, 3 p.m. then. No, it says enter proper date and time.
Oh, I would just write Ethan. That's all I ever.
I did already.
Okay, I did already. You should be fine.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, what are people going to say?
Yeah. So hockey's in the NBA. I put in. We'll just see what happens over there. I want to know if Brandon is here. Brandon, are you here somewhere? Brandon Cruz? Because I just updated. I updated the truck series projections. I had a question about one guy, and if he's here, I will put that out to him. There's one. If he's not here, I'll just tell everybody that just the projections are up. Do whatever. But there's a guy named William Sawalik who I'm getting quite a bit of deviation of projection and ownership projections on him. I got couple of people think he's like the most popular player on the slate and like kind of a lock, and some people don't even play him at all. So I just want to know if you're there, Brandon, what you think of William Sawalik. The rest I could just kind of build on. But for everybody, the truck series projections are up. He's doing live right now. Okay, so I'm just gonna miss it. If you want to get good info on the truck series, when this is over in like 15 minutes, just go to him. Basically.
You guys, let me know if you have any questions in the next 5 minutes. I don't think I have any baseball lineups that have all the players playing, so I think I need to edit mine at some point. But I'd love to answer questions or do whatever for the next 5 minutes. Favorite stacks? Okay, Adam's got it. I like Cleveland. I like Atlanta. I'm just looking through my ownerships to make sure I'm being consistent. I like the Dodgers it feels crazy because I really like Steele as a pitcher. I really like the Yankees. I think I'm coming back onto the Yankees feel like they could be the team today. And then St. Louis would be my next team. All right. I have to say, I like the Dodgers less than I did earlier because I liked Will Smith being in the lineup. And it's just not quite as much fun for me without it. I keep saying, Eric, I like the Jays. I don't know how many times to say it. I like the Jays. I like Barrios. Everything I wrote, all of my content, everything has been literally. I like the Jays. I like Barrios. I understand that people are going to stack against him. I understand that there's a perception. I don't care whatsoever. I actually like. I'm a huge Tampa fan. I think that they do everything the right way. They're so impressive. But if you're going to tell me that the bottom of that lineup is so good that we can't play Jose Barrios on this slate at 7,200, he's a guy who can at least put up a number for me. You know what I mean? And I know he sucks so far. It doesn't matter. It's 2 starts. Remember the Corbin Burns thing. Just wait till the third one. You see what happens. No problem, Eric.
Wait till the third.
Wait till the third start to play all these guys. Sheets, what do you think about the? I don't understand. I actually would have thought they would have been the team people gravitated towards. It just doesn't seem like it's happening. I'm really surprised by that.
Yeah, I am a little bit too. Who are your favorite pitchers tonight? Like on the slate? I mean, you need 2 pitchers.
This is the hardest.
Yeah, let's wait, and you're playing cash. You know what I mean? What's like your 2 pitchers that you like the most?
I would know what to. So in cash, I think that you just take the safety of ish, I guess, of I'd probably play in cash Cortez
and Garcia,
either Garcia or Senga.
Okay.
Probably, but I can do that. Like if I wanted to, but I don't feel that great about that. You know what I mean? Like nobody quite feels great, and it's odd. Like right now, the 5th most popular pitcher on the slate is Noah Syndergaard, and it's just so.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck to everybody with it. I mean, it might work. Anything can work. It's baseball. Do you know we should have? It's funny because I was listening to these guys, and good job by the host of the show, of the other show I was listening to, talking about the BVP against Martin Perez and why Houston's a great play. And I'm like, how can you talk about BVP and they've never hit a home run off of them? Like never. In 150 at-bats, no home runs. There's no such thing as good BVP without power.
That's a very interesting comment.
It's always crazy to me that people, because nobody cares about a single. It doesn't do you any good. I actually think Perez is even in play, by the way. This is not the same Houston team, and their best 2 hitters are lefties. You have Ches McCormick. You do have Abreu in there. But other than that, you have McCormick, Bregman. Okay, I guess you have to worry about Bregman a little bit. It's just Pena's been horrible, so they moved him down to 7. I don't know. Yeah, Hawk, sure, go ahead, play him. The pitchers are like what mostly you feel like about hitters. Like, oh yeah, sure, you can play that guy. I just don't have a really strong take. That's why when I don't have a strong take, what I do is I overweight the low-owned upside guys like Charlie Morton. I think Clevenger, Gomer, and Woodford. Just based on the fact that they can throw 95 pitches. Like nothing else. And I do think Michael Wacha is a better play. Like I think you could consider him as a cash play too. But it's not an exciting. It does actually. I'm coming on to the idea that maybe that's more of what I should be doing. With a little less Clevenger, a little more Wacha, because I don't need to get as different as I'm getting right now. All right, I do have to go and edit my lineups if that's okay with you, Sheets. I can leave this on though.
No, leave it on.
Leave it on. Okay, I'm leaving it on. Good luck, everybody. Good luck, Sheets.
Yeah, thanks. So I'm actually struggling with the. I'm sorry if I'm going to deviate, whatever. Just a couple of announcements too. So I did an MMA DFS breakdown for this weekend. I also did a betting breakdown for this weekend as well. They're both free on YouTube. And again, for the betting stuff, it's very contrarian. It's just very different. The way those of you who've been with me for a while and you know how I analyze most sports betting, it's going to get even more annoying for you when you go through my MMA approach, but that's the way it is. I post these truck series things up there, and I'm trying to build this, and I have to see what's going on with that play, this Sawalik play. So let me just see like what kind of deviation there is. I didn't do any. The unfortunate reality is I didn't do any. What's the word I'm looking for? I didn't do any fundamental research. I just am going off projections, which is maybe not the smartest thing to do. But what I'm inclined to do is just kind of fade it. If it's going to be this highly owned, if I can't get complete justification that it's a good play and it's going to be highly owned, I'm probably just going to fade it. The other thing I'll mention about the truck series that I want to play, and this is that I definitely want to play guys near the front, and guys like all the way at the back. The middle of the pack is going to be it's going to be tough for me to get to, and so the top two guys like Zane Smith and Kyle Busch, I think one of those two I'm going to want. The Kyle Busch is 13,000. This is kind of hard, and you have Ross Chastain at 11K. He's in the 25 hole, so that's I'm gonna like that. And I will tell you, by the way, I can't get any more direct. I mean, in my big one on DraftKings, I'm going to be playing in baseball. I'm going to be stacking that Cubs game. That's just the way it's going to be. So in the NASCAR, I mean, I'm not seeing a lot of kind of like low owned stuff you could do, like Dean Thompson at 6,300, Ben Rhodes at 9,900, Matt Crafton at 8,900. So these are guys you could play. So what I'm going to do, and I'll show you I'll show you this. How about this? Watch this. Okay, let me share my screen. And I'm sorry if this is not what you guys are here for, but this is what I happen to be doing. So we're going to be doing my truck series build right now. And then I'll answer questions for the otis stuff, but this is just happens to be what I'm doing. So I'm going to do this now. So let's go to trucks. Let's go to NASCAR. Sorry. And this is what we're going to do. So we're going to do. I can't play, I don't think, Zane Smith and I guess I could play them both. So the first thing I want to do is let's upload the projections. Then let's see what I get like normally. That's a good way to start. I'm probably going to play like 40 lineups because I'm just kind of in the mood. Okay. We'll see what I get normally. And then what I'm going to do is force in those lower owned guys that I kind of mentioned. The Dean Thompson, the Craftons, or whatever. But let's see if I get that Sawalik character. So, wow, I'd be getting 65% Connor Jones at 4,900. That's really interesting. And I'm almost getting no Zane Smith. And here's the Sawalik thing. I just don't know what to do with this. 37% of this. So what I'm going to do, I kind of like this idea though. So Zane Smith, I don't have that much of this. The Kyle Busch I have 50% of. I feel like I should have more Zane Smith if you want to know the truth. So maybe I'll do a little more of him. Wow, this is kind of a cool build. I mean, I think 65% Connor Jones. All right, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to share this with you. These are the sheets. So what I like to look for is just guys that are kind of like middle owned, that aren't, you know what I mean, that are rated okay. So Thompson, Rhodes, Crafton, Friedson, and then there was a little bit of a break. So let's just make sure we get Friedson, Crafton, Rhodes, Thompson. Let's see how much we have. So Friedson, we have 12%. Probably want a little more. Oops. So we'll put in Friesen, we'll put in 20 minimum. Put in, let's see when they yell at me. Crafton, okay, I got plenty of him. And then, who else did I say? Thompson, Rhodes, Eck, Hyam. So Thompson, got plenty of him. Rhodes, Ben Rhodes. Let's get 20 of him. X. Let's get 20 of him. And then the last guy I'm going to force in. Hyam and Hocevar. Actually, there's a big drop between Connors and Hocevar, so no need to do him, but we're going to do Hyam. So make sure we get 20% of him. We have 15, but that may as well do this. And so after I do that, then it's still Connor Jones the highest, but I have all this other stuff, and it's pretty middling. This is probably a pretty cool GPP lineup build. So that's what we're going to do. Wow. God help me. Good luck, Connor Jones. Okay, so we're going to do this, then we can come back to the other sports because I still have not shown my NBA. I'm going to share everything with you guys. Just have to do it at my own pace. All right, so let me update the NASCAR, the trucks. I'm pretty stoked about the way this is going to be built here, I think. I'm not going to have that much Chastain. I gotta check that because that would be a little scary. Scary, whatever. It's stupid DFS. It's not scary. But let's see. So yeah, I'm getting plenty of Chastain. Okay. So that is my my NASCAR build. You saw exactly what I did. NBA, I just want to share my exposures with you. I'm not really going to change anything unless there's a somebody that's out. Jalen Williams and Vooch, these are my top plays. And then down to Bam, Isaiah Joe, Beverly, Cat. You kind of see it right here. One thing I'm not going to do, I'm not going to worry about, 4 guys, 5 guys from one team. That's totally fine. I will say that I don't have a single lineup with Shea in it, which, I mean, it's pretty, I guess that's pretty awful. But that's just kind of the deal. All this Jalen Williams, but, it's fine. It's 2-game slate NBA, it's got to do something, I guess. And with respect to hockey, I did play the 2-game slate. What the hell? I'll just tell you what I ended up doing. I ended up with that's a good question what I end up with. We're going to do this again. I only played 15 lineups tonight. I'll rebuild this now. Why not? I mean, I'm really just I'd make a couple of tweaks to the projections just because of stuff that I like, and that's pretty much all I'm doing here. It's nothing. It's not the greatest. Obviously, it's not the greatest data play. So this is what it is. Like Columbus is their guys. That's who I have the most of. That's the guy. Those are the guys I'm rooting for. I mean, just some degenning tonight in the hockey. And as I mentioned, we'll be doing a full MMA. We're playing MMA tomorrow. Post time for that is 5:30 p.m. I think. If there's any cancellations, anything else that I come up with, I will let you know as far as that goes. Pretty good card. I think Mrs. Sheets is coming in with dinner, so I'm gonna update the hockey. It should be any second now. And I will also just share with you my baseball exposures. Let's just do this. I guess the best way to do it, because I don't have that thing anymore that shows you the percentages. So what we could do is we could download this, my entries here, and then upload them to SaberSim using the entry editor, so you can see. Golf is a horror show, by the way. Thought everybody know that. For me, at least. Hope everybody did better. I hope you did better, because you almost impossible for you to do worse. Okay, let's upload the entries file, which I just made. Maybe I'll show you my exposures. And then I'll take one more shot at some questions. And then I'm dealing with this with the State Kings. All right, so looks like team stacks, Orioles, Cleveland, Mets, Chicago, Dodgers. Orioles being the highest owned stack by a decent amount, then Cleveland, then Mets, Cubs, Dodgers, then Atlanta. As far as players go, as far as pitching, you see I played 16 pitchers. Unbelievable. And Tommy Malone is my highest owned at 4K. We'll just see what happens. And then there's Senga. Probably pretty much with the field on him. Good amount of Jake Woodford over on Cortez. There's your Tanner Houck. I got some Tanner Houck for you. Not bad. And that's pretty much it. Let me look see if there are any questions. I don't see any. So that'll do it. Good luck this weekend, and